Kamusta ka?
สวัสดีครับ
Salamat din kahari.
Hello.
Mingalaba?
Ciao.
안녕하세요. 안녕하십니까.
Konnichiwa. Ni hao. Namaste.
It's more fun in the Philippines. Yes, that's right. Philippines make it so special to be a proud continent in Asia, despite of its challenges faced. Along with its 7,641 islands, Philippines is a home to diverse wildlife, colorful fast culture, a picture-perfect destinations, and more than a million smiles to welcome you. A place where our Filipino is proud to call home. Among with its 175 languages, Filipino or Tagalog is the most common used as its native language. Here are some of the words, phrases, or expressions they often use. Kumain ka na? Ano pangalan mo? Maligayang karawan. Ayos ka lang? Oo, hindi. O or opo. As Filipinos in general, they love to use gestures. They don't speak a lot, but they use sign languages. Here are some of those politically correct gestures. The mano po. Mano po is showing respect in the elderly. It's asking the hands of the elderly to ask for a blessing. Next is when showing a way or a thing, they would not point with their finger. Instead, they would point with their lips. There, like that. Another is when they're in the restaurant and then after they eat, you'll ask for the check or the bill. Instead of saying, check please, they would say, waiter. That means it's check please. Next is the nodding, the eyebrow raise, and smiling. Doing this is showing some recognition when someone's approaching. They would be like. Next is the let's eat, like that. In some nations, doing this is some kind of disrespect. But in the Philippines, doing this is just asking you to let's eat. Filipinos and their hospitality makes it so special in their country. Ano? Tara? Yes na!
Sawadee krab. Homshu Migina krab, or in English, hello, my name is Miggy. I have greeted you and introduced myself using the native language of Thailand. Thailand, or formerly known as Siam, or officially the Kingdom of Thailand, is a country in Southeast Asia. It is known for its tropical beaches, opulent royal places, ancient ruins, and ornate temples displaying the figures of Buddha. In Bangkok, which is the capital of the country, an ultra-modern cityscape rises next to quiet, canal-side communities and the iconic temples of Wat Arun, Wat Po, and the Emerald Buddha Temple, which is called the Wat Ha Kaeo. Today, I am going to provide you some of the commonly used words and gestures in Thailand. Also, I will provide some words and gestures that are not appropriate for Thai natives. Here are some commonly used words in Thailand. Sawadee krab. Sawadee krab means hello or formal greeting in Thailand. Thai. Thai means yes in Thailand. Mai. Mai means no in Thailand. Khop kun krab. Khop kun krab. Khop kun krab means thank you in Thailand. Hot hod nakrab. Hot hod nakrab. Hot hod means sorry in Thailand. And ไม่เป็นไร Mepenlai. Mepenlai means it's fine in Thailand. Like any other cultures, Thailand also uses gestures to signify non-verbal communication. Why? A way of greeting in Thai society, and one of the most common Thailand hand gestures. Why is used when you are greeting someone. Sawadee krap. Nod head. This is one of the most common gestures in all cultures. It is a non-verbal cue for agreeing on something. Thailand culture treats our body as a sacred temple. Thus, here are some rude etiquette that you should be informed. It is rude for Thai natives to put your feet onto the table because Thai people consider our food as kotham, which means things that are dirty. Last one is the patting of the head. It is extremely rude in Thai culture to pat someone's head because for them, heads are considered the most sacred temple in our body. Those are some of the most common words and gestures in Thailand. May this be a guide for your next visit in the land of smiles, Thailand. Khop khun krap.
Namasaya, Yana Blancaflor. That's how to introduce your name in an incredibly diverse country, Malaysia. Malaysia and Philippines are ethnically similar. It contains many different ethnicities, language, and religions as well. People from each ethnicity have generally retained their ancestors' cultural customs. As a result, Malaysian society accommodates a rich variety of lifestyle, beliefs, and values. So I'll discuss some commonly used words of Malays, as well as some expressions and gestures. Let's start first with the commonly used words of Malays. Good morning in Malay is Selamat Pagi. Good evening is Selamat Petang. Thank you is Terima kasih. While welcome is Selamat Datang. If you're going to ask how are you, just say Apa kabar? So those are just some of the basic words to learn. Let's now proceed to the frequently used expressions of Malays. This word is pronounced as chinchay. Literally means whatever. So it's like saying I don't care. Next is the FFK or the Fong Fei K. But since it's in all caps, it does the job of sounding much angrier. So for example, when someone said, "Oh, I suddenly can't make it," you can reply FFK layu. This is the word perasan. It means notice, but for some reason it ventured out of its origin, and now Malaysians use it to say don't flatter yourself. So for example is when someone said, "OMG, that guy can stop staring at me." So you can reply don't perasan la. It's like saying don't be assuming. Now let's move on to the common gestures that we can see from Malays. Let's start first from the head. Malaysians consider the head as the most sacred part of one's body. Therefore, it is considered very rude and considerate to touch another person's head. Next is eye contact. Malaysians generally avoid holding direct eye contact with people of the opposite gender out of modesty. They may also lower their gaze when talking to someone older than them. Next is body language. Do you know that placing one's hand on their hips or in their pockets during conversation indicates anger? Well, that's for Malays. And lastly, the feet. Feet are considered as the lowliest and dirtiest part of the body. Do not move objects with them or display the soles of your feet to someone else. It's a big no for Malays. So that's all for Malaysia. I hope you learned something. Terima kasih.
Hello! Indonesia is a Southeast Asian country. It is the largest in Southeast Asia by size, fourth most populous country in the world, and comprises of 17,000 islands that is located between the Indian Ocean and the Pacific Ocean. It is also considered to be part of the Oceania. Well, Indonesia is best known for its tourist spots like beaches, and resorts. Its capital is Jakarta. Well, people are very polite in Indonesia, and the first thing that you would do to greet people in Indonesia if you meet them firsthand is to shake their hands and to initiate a slight nod after saying Salamat siya, a formal way of saying hello. And the informal way is halu, as I have mentioned earlier. So, if it's morning, you say Salamat pagi. And if it's afternoon, you say Salamat siang. If it's evening, Salamat malam. And if you say good night, you say Salamat tidur. If you want to say how are you, you say apa kabar. And if you want to ask for permission, or if you want to say excuse me, you say permisi. If you want to thank you someone, you could say terima kasih. As I have mentioned earlier, meeting new people in Indonesia, you should shake their hands and take a nod. But if you talk to a woman, if you're a man, if you talk to a woman, it is best if the woman will initiate the shaking of hands. Salamat means peace. And instead of using your index finger, pointing in Indonesia is best if you point it with your thumbs. That's all.
Myanmar, or previously well known as Burma, is a Southeast Asian country bordering India, Bangladesh, Laos, China, and Thailand. The country is famous for its serene white beaches and sacred Buddhist temples scattered across the country. Myanmar citizens are commonly called Burmese, same with their primary language, but other citizens prefer to be called by their ethnicity, like Chin, Karen, Chinese, and other else instead of being called Burmese. The Burmese language is considered simple, but difficult to learn because though words are spelled as it is pronounced, the language has some spelling oddities. But learning the pronunciation of some common expressions is quite easy, like saying Mingalapa for hello and Twayay Tawan Tapatay, which means glad to meet you. Other famous expressions are Nai Kangala for how are you and Kai Zutin Patay, which say thank you. Myanmar people are commonly humble, soft, quiet, but very cheerful. This is because of the effect of their religion, Buddhism. On the other hand, they are a little sensitive about political and religious talks and might take criticisms personally given their soft-hearted nature. Once one is in Myanmar, proper attitude and manners should be observed because even though some actions could be normal to other culture, Myanmar citizens are very prim when it comes to their etiquette. For example, tapping the top of someone's head is forbidden, for it is considered to be the most sacred part of one's body. In contrast, the soles of one's feet should never be pointed to another person, for the feet are closest to the ground and therefore considered to be the dirtiest part of one's being. Myanmar is a country that communicates through different languages, be it verbal or non-verbal, but can come as one to provide the best for their homeland. The language they speak, however soft-spoken, will be loud enough to send their cries for freedom and equity through the tough times that they are facing right now.